Mailbag time here at the Cleveland Browns Report. Matthew Peterson answering the questions that were asked during our live show, which was on Monday, President's Day. Had to pre-film this bad boy because I'm out of town for a stretch. So if things have been dated or tweaked a little bit, well, you know why. But I wanted to get some content for the Dog Pound while I was out of town. So just bear with me here. But let's start the mailbag off with this super chat coming in from Brown Tiger, an absolute staple of the channel. I'm just waiting on my guy DeAndre Hopkins to come to the land. Yes, I am not going off the topic. Changed the last part of my name because I love mountain biking. So, you like mountain biking. But more importantly, DeAndre Hopkins to the Browns, if that trade goes through, you got to be happy about it. You got a very good player. You got a top 10 wide receiver, in my opinion. DeAndre Hopkins as a player doesn't necessarily fit what the Browns need, in my opinion, at wide receiver. I've said it before, and I'll continue to say it. The Browns need a speedy slot receiver. That's not Hopkins. He's got a great history with Deshaun Watson, and it would be awesome. It'd be a Madden offense of Cooper, D-Hop, Watson, and Chubb. That's plenty to get excited about. I just think you can be a bit more calculated with your moves, and you don't have to give up a big draft pick to get him. You can instead take that draft pick, use it at a younger wide receiver potentially, or you can find a cheaper option in free agency. If it does happen, I'll definitely be pumped about it. I just think they don't have to absolutely swing for a home run at wide receiver. I think a nice shot down the third base line, gets past the hot corner, would get the job done. Ryan Chowdhury next up on the show. Who is our non-division rival, in your opinion? It's a good question. Right now, the big ones in the NFL have to be Chiefs-Bengals. That's probably the biggest non-division rival. For the Browns, I think it's got to probably stay in the AFC family. Not really an AFC South team that jumps out to me. AFC West, depending on your age, maybe the Broncos would make some sense. But that was before my time. AFC East, not the Patriots. I'm really hating the Jets after last year, so that's going to be up there for me. The Bills' proximity, but not really. I like wings in Buffalo. So I guess I don't have a great answer. I'm going to pencil in. The Patriots have had the Browns number for a while. NFC teams, nothing in the North, nothing in the South, nothing in the West. Maybe you guys have a better answer for this question. Biggest non-division rival, I'm going to go down with the New York Jets because of that dumb onside kick. All right. Ooh, we got a burner coming in. Here we go. I love it. Guardians baseball right around the corner. Thoughts on drafting Drew Sanders at 42? This has been a name that I think that's really risen up draft boards, and I think he's only going to get more love as we get closer to the NFL draft. I'm talking about the Arkansas linebacker Drew Sanders. In 2022, he had 103 tackles. That is crazy amount for a college player. 9.5 sacks, 3 forced fumbles. I forgot where I saw it, but some have comped him as Micah Parsons light, meaning he can be an inside linebacker, he can be an outside linebacker, he can be an edge rusher. He's just a football player and a darn good one too. The Browns don't have a glaring need at linebacker in terms of that's not true. It's not their biggest priority. They've only got JOK, Phillips, and Fields under contract. They've got to add more players there. But if they draft Drew Sanders, it might not be a pick that feels like it's filling a big need for 2023, but you're getting a good football player for a long time. I'd be excited about the pick. But be honest, who is your top draft target for the Browns? Let me know in the comments section below who your number one guy is. For me, in the balancing realistic options at 42, I'm a big Josh Downs guy out of UNC right now. Young Sky, next one up on the show. Javon Kinlaw, possible signing. So Javon Kinlaw, former first-round pick out of for the Niners, is under contract for 2023. San Francisco has to decide whether or not they want to pick up his fifth-year option like Jed Wills this offseason. I don't think they will. He's been a bit underwhelming. He also has struggled staying on the field. Now, the Niners do have a lot of mouths to feed coming up soon, and Kinlaw is probably going to be someone who does not get a second contract from San Francisco. If the Niners want a draft pick for a guy they don't see long-term with them before they let him walk in free agency, maybe trading for Javon Kinlaw could make some sense. If you think you could acquire him for cheap because the Niners are thinking, listen, we know we're not picking up his 5th year. We're probably not going to be able to pay him when his contract is up after his rookie deal. Let's get something for the guy now since we lost a bunch of picks for McCaffrey. I could see that happening. And if that's the situation, raw impression, Kinlaw, first-round guy, so it's a big-name target. Stats haven't always been there. But I'm open to giving Jim Schwartz more weapons at defensive tackle. If it comes at a price of a 5th or a 6th rounder, sure, why not? Joshua Miller, what's up? If Ty Boyd becomes available as rumored, should we consider a major area of need? I don't know what the Bengals are going to do with T. Higgins. That's where this question has to start. If they move on from T. Higgins, if they trade T. Higgins because they know they can't pay him in free agency, well, then they're probably going to hold on to Tyler Boyd. But if they pay T. Higgins, then I could see Boyd going. And if that's the case, yeah, Boyd brings a lot of speed to this offense that is very much needed. So if Boyd is surprisingly cut by the Bengals, which I don't forecast happening, I'd be all in on Cleveland bringing him in. Before we get to more questions, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We don't just do mailbags here. We break down the latest news and rumors. We talk about free agent targets, draft targets, everything under the sun related to your Cleveland Browns. So don't miss a thing by getting subscribed to the channel. What's up? Question coming in from Baker's PR team. Oh, where were they? One fateful night at the parking lot of, well, I think I've said enough already. Knowing how they panned out this year, would you have pulled the trigger on Hunt and Greedy in a trade? I've got to be honest. I was very adamant against trading Kareem Hunt before the season last year. By the trade deadline, when I saw the way he was being used in this offense and how he had fallen off, I would have traded him for a 4th or a 5th. Sounds like the Browns were bent on, or was it a 4th? They would not budge on. They never got that call, so they never moved on from him. Yeah, it's a bit of a mistake holding on to Kareem Hunt and Greedy Williams, looking back at it now, especially because Greedy was a healthy scratch for a chunk last year after starting the year off on IR and Martin Emerson being CB1 on this team. Hindsight's 2020. Always good to have depth. Plus, in the moment, the Browns didn't know for sure they would miss the playoffs, and they didn't want to move on from quality players. They're going to lose them to free agency. If they don't make any big-time signings, they could get a comp pick for them, so maybe a long shot, though. All right, question coming in from Centrion. Trade for a slot corner. I don't think so. The Browns traded away a slot corner last year in Troy Hill. If they truly valued that position as a spot where they would go out and give up a draft pick for someone, they probably would have held on to Troy Hill. So Greg Newsome emphatically said no to playing slot in 2023. Let's see how that changes once he has a sit down with Jim Schwartz and he outlines his plan and his scheme and his plan of attack for this upcoming season, this defense. If he can't sell Greg Newsome then maybe you approach that slot corner position differently. But for now, I don't see Andrew Berry doing this type of trade. Before we answer the rest of the questions you all have, I got to tell you guys about this really cool retro shirt, in my opinion. It's on sale at Fanatics. When you go to chatsports.com/CLE shirt, I've put that link for everyone in the comments and the description of today's show. So make sure you check it out. Ryan Chowdhury is the next one up on the show. Chubb for DeForest, Buckner, and a second. No. For a lot of reasons. Ryan, I like you a lot, but why would the Colts trade why would the Colts trade for Nick Chubb when they have Jonathan Taylor? Not going to happen. Just DeForest, Buckner for a second, I'm in, and I don't hesitate. Without a doubt. I like DeForest Buckner as a player. I know second-round picks are vital to keeping things young and cheap for a roster, more than just hoping you hit on that pick. But Buckner, win now window with him, I'm all in, baby. This next question comes in from When Will It End? Who is someone that we should be talking more about for pick number 42? Ooh, I like this question. Someone that might get a bump from the combine. Trying to think of a couple of guys out there on offense and defense. Let me see. One name that comes to mind as someone that could rise is Keanu Benton. Keanu Benton, the defensive tackle out of Wisconsin. He was awesome at the Senior Bowl. He turned a lot of heads, and he is a defensive tackle that's really good that the Browns need, right? The Browns need a defensive tackle, and Benton could be that guy. I don't want to try and sound super simple when I say this, but like that checks what you're looking for in a draft. You need a defensive tackle. Benton seems like a guy who's rising up draft boards. He could be a name to watch for, especially coming out of the combine if he performs well there. Now, speaking of Wisconsin, shout out your college. If you're still watching right now, get into the comment section below and let me know what your Saturday team is. Of course, I always roll with my Tennessee Volunteers, my alma mater. Let me know what your college team is, whether it's Ohio State or another school out there. AFX Apocalypse. Should we draft Ronnie Bell? Just start hoarding all the Michigan wide receivers. I'm not opposed to it. Ronnie Bell missed most of, basically all of the 2021 college football season. He was good for Michigan in 2022, but we all know Michigan's offense was relatively one-dimensional until the last 3 weeks of the season. Run, and then run again. So Ronnie Bell never really got an opportunity to showcase his skill set, but I think Ronnie Bell could be a fun round 5, round 6 gadget-type pick. Better Demetric Felton, we would hope for it, probably. Another question coming in from Ryan Chowdhury, the last one. Donovan Peoples-Jones trade for weapons? No, you don't trade Donovan Peoples-Jones for 2 reasons. 1, he's ascending. 2, he cost you a bag of pennies. He's getting paid $2.5 million this year. $2.5 million for a guy who had nearly 900 yards last year. You don't pass up on that type of value. So you're keeping DPJ. If anything, I'm extending DPJ midseason. Appreciate the question, though, Ryan. That's going to do it for us on today's show. Thank you so much for tuning in and making us a part of your day. We'll see you guys later throughout the week with more Browns YouTube content right here at the channel.